Hello my fellow hunters, in this video I will show you a fun build. So this is called a fun explosion build or blast build, but it does very decent damage and out damage all the KO switch X builds and also out damage a power file. It out damage the Chemi poison build, which I recommended in my compilation website, the Google document, which is this one. Here at the left side you can click on all the weapons, all the guides. I added so much stuff. Please make sure. Also a ton of morph explanation with different matchups. And today, yes, I did a lot of work. I needed several hours to create a blast calculator. And in this video I also gonna explain you how blast is exactly working. So this may be a video, maybe I'm not sure whether it hits the 30-minute mark, but I think it's a little bit longer than all the other videos because I have to explain a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna also show another thing. I'm gonna prepare something. Let's go to spawn, and I'm gonna show you now a monster list. So this is a blast build and it outdamage the exhaust switch X, and it is really decent, and I recommend it as general purpose hunting build. The thing is, this build is maxed out for maximum blast damage, so it's very versatile. You can also very easily instead slap in some attack tools or other stuff, but I figured out that it's most fun to play with poison, with blast damage. It's very fun to play, you can recognize it yourself. So first of all we have to check out the large monsters and their resistance to blast. You can see here it is in this line, and then now we go all to the other monsters. So you can see the monsters, most monsters has a 2 weakness for blast. There are some exceptions, like for Rathalos, but if you're fighting Rathalos you should definitely use Dragon or yes, Magma Almudron. But you can see about there are also Kushaladora, which is even more effective. But you can also recognize for the most they have for damage two bars. So most monsters tend to have a 2-star blast weakness, and therefore I figured it out to the Robomax side, which I highly recommend for every morph guy or what else. So we choose a monster which has a 2-star weakness, which is Nargacuga. Okay, we check out Nargacuga. You can see here for blast the initial tolerance is 70, so you have to apply 70 effective status for the first hit, and the tolerance increase is 63. That means for the second hit you have to apply 133 status and then 203 status or 206 status. And all that stuff is increasing until you hit the 1400 mark. But I tested it in several hunts. If you have a power file, you do for the Nargacuga until he's set about 6 or 7 blast procs, and if you have an elemental file, you do about up to 15 blast procs, which is insane. And that's the reason I calculated for average of 10 and average of 15 blast procs. Okay, so first of all I'm gonna show you all the stuff you need for the blast calculator. But first, before we are starting of anything, I show you all the blast weapons that you can forge. And I want to show you why I've chosen the Teostra's castle, and it has to do with the multipliers. So if you're very early in the game and you didn't kill the end boss, I highly recommend to use X of Virtue. It has an elemental file. That means the real blast damage is about 55 or so, because we have elemental file, no slots and only rampage level 2 slot. By sharpness you need handicraft, so not really recommend to use this, but for early high rank this is a very strong weapon. I use it as core press weapon. The next blast weapon we have is the Scorn Magna Malus Witch Axe, which has natural purple sharpness, but I hunted Nargacuga about 10 times and I only managed to get 6 or 7 blast procs. So it isn't really recommended for the blast procs. We also have Seething Basil with 23 blasts, which is also very low, and then we have the Teostra's Hellebarde. So this weapon has 52 blasts, but you also have to consider this has an elemental file. So the blast damage was increased by 45%. That means the real blast damage is about the half of this number again. So it's about 75 real blast element, which is completely insane. And that this weapon also has natural purple sharpness, a level 2 slot and a level 3 rampage slot. That means you can use file switch boost, which doesn't increase your damage at all, or you can use the Teostra Deco, which I also gonna show you later. What I showed you now, I show you later on off, but I know you know how to craft it. The rampage decoration is called why it isn't shown? Maybe because I already crafted it? I already crafted the deco, so it isn't shown. But it is here. Teostra Soul slightly increases damage dealt by blasts and explosions. That means your damage was increased from about 200 blast procs to 240. Please don't mess up with the training dummy. To the training dummy you only do 100 blast procs, because this monster has a high rank multiplier, but master rank you do the double amount of blast damage, so you do 200 proc per proc and 240 if you have Teostra Soul. So in my opinion, Teostra Soul is very strong and also highly recommended on this set, because you have Elemental Fire and it scales so good. I'm not sure what I show you first, the skills. I think I show you the skills first. And at the end the build. The skills we are using on the Switch X set is Attack Boost 4 with Weakness Exploit 3. You can easily increase Attack Boost to 6, but we have Elemental Fire and it scales a lot better with Blast Attack, so I highly recommend maxing out Blast Attack. You do 20% even more Blast Attack, plus 5 additional more flat. Blast Damage, Protective Bullet 3 with Rapid Move 3, Deviance 3, Power Prolonger level 2. You can also squeeze out that 1 level of critical boost and instead use 3 levels of Power Prolonger if you have problems to get amped. But that's Elemental Fire, so shouldn't be a problem. Also Firebug Whisper level 2. Coalescence is an absolute core skill. I talk later about that. Also for Ray, which is on this build, we didn't really need it, but it's on the build, so very good if you have some Paradox or Poison Dog, so I highly recommend Poison and 1 Paradox. Burst level 2, critical boost level 1, you can easily use just another level 2 skill, whatever you want, a Weight Extender 1 with Bloodlust level 1. So Bloodlust level 1 is, I would say, one of the most important skill on the set. It is absolutely recommended for the set. You have to use Bloodlust level 1, I also show you why. Okay? The thing is, if you use Bloodlust, you can easily trigger Coalescence, which is here. And Coalescence increases your status build up by 10%, which is absolutely insane. That means it is same good as the Teostra's belt, which you can also use, but Teostra's belt has 2 levels of Teostra Blessing, but I use the Chemi belt because it has better slots. So if you want to do even more, you can also use Teostra belt, but with the Frenzy helmet you get additional 20% crit, and also while active you gain that 10% additional status build up, okay, all the time up. So this is an extremely strong skill and maybe the most important of all. Then we also have Interpreted Heart, so I sniped for the skill, so you can also use another armor pot. You can also use the Anjanath belt if you want to go for Interpreted Heart level 2, or you can also use the Violet Mitsune chest. Also we have Build Up Boost level 1, which increases our attack power by 3.3% because of the RNG rate. So first of all, I show you all skills I have. If you wanna go for, I also explain you that later, but show it you now. If you wanna go for your augmentations, maybe you have seen my elemental meta build video, where I used always 5 times elemental attack, and on this X we definitely should use blast attack over attack, and the reason is because we have elemental fire, and that means we get not 8 blast, we get about 12 blast, okay? So we get 45% more blast, and I did the math, it's a bit better than the attack augment, so I highly recommend to go for more blast, okay? Now to the next stuff. I now show you all the morph. So, I've created this blast calculator. If you want to use it yourself, just go to my webpage, data, make a copy, and then you can use your plus stuff, okay? So let's go to the blast calculator. Teostra's Headbutter has a natural blast attack of 52. Let's check the weapon stat. Here it's called about 60 because we have done the augments, and we have 77 because we also have the blast attack level 3. We gain 20% more plus build up. Yeah, so we have a natural on this weapon about 60 blast. And yes, original it is 52 like I said. And let's go to the spreadsheet. So we have 52, and we used for the weapon augments 2 times blast, which gives us 8 additional status. And we also used blast attack level 3, which you can see here, which gives us 5 additional blast attack and a 20% blast multiplier for the build-up. Okay, and we also use the deco, Teostra deco, so we gain 20% additional on the blast procs. So you can see here the proc damage increases from 200 to 240. So our natural status is 65 status. But you also have to consider we have elemental fire, which increases our status damage output by 45%. We also have blast attack level 3, which additional increases our blast attack by 20% and 5 additional flat true status. For coalescence we are gaining 10% additional blast attack when it's triggered, but it's triggered all the time because we're using frenzy virus pods. And all in all, you can see here that 8 additional status is 60 status, and now also that 5 additional status from the blast attack and that 20% from the blast attack, we're getting 65 true status and 124.41 effective status. This includes all the multipliers from the elemental fire, from blast attack and coalescence. So we are not using Theo Blessing, that's why this trigger isn't currently enabled. Yes, 124 effective status. So at the right here is a table for the average monsters with a 2-star weakness, like I explained. So you can see you have to do 133. You're starting with 70 build up, so you only do 1 hit and you immediately have a status proc, and then you increase with 133, 196. Yes, this is the sum you have to do at total damage. Yes, for the monster. Yes, and that is just general numbers you have to do to proc the blast status. So if you want to do maybe 10 status procs, for the 10th proc you need 600 build up, or in general you have to do it all for the sum 3600 status proc. So here's also the multipliers for aerial switch X and grounded switch X. Aerial combo is 7 seconds. You have different attacks, like do 11 ticks, 1 tick at the start and 10 ticks for SASD. The thrust is 3 ticks, the finisher is 1, and at 1 slash high burst is 1. Here are different status modifiers. That means if you do a ZSD, the ZSD ticks only apply 50% of the status. So it's a little bit less at the end. But if you have some big ass chunk numbers attack, like the finisher or the advanced slash burst, they have a 150% multiplier of the status attack. So yes, they are applying 186 true build up. And in the end, with this build, with the aerial SA, you do 1443 true build up. And for the grounded playstyle, you have different combos. Just to mention, the most have a 1 status modifier, but the file burst, which doubles, which is very crazy. So end state is very crazy for status mod, because you're doing the double amount of hits in the same period of time. Yes, and the file burst has a status modifier of 0.7. That means a file tick only applies 70% of your shown status build up. As at a total, with 1 grounded SA combo or 1 rabbit morph loop combo, you're doing 1057 status build up. At the bottom here, I calculated for the procs. That means if you do 10 procs on a monster, I choose 10 and 15 procs, because if you have a power file, you do about maximal 6 or 7 procs until the monster is dead. And if you have an elemental file, like explained for Nagakuga or so, with a 2-star weakness, you do about 15 procs until the monster is dead. So I just chosen both. At the end for the calculation, I used the average. Okay, so yes, you can see here the different build up. You can see here the number is lower, and the reason is we have the true build up of 1000, about 1400, let's say, and then we have the status trigger uptime of 0% because we didn't use status trigger on our set, so we have a trigger rate of status with 33.33%, which screws our build up down to about 500. Okay, and then you have to divide this 500 into the 350, which is about 1.2, and that means you do at the end about 1.2 blast procs, which is a damage of about, yes, which is a damage of 326. Okay, so yes, that's the way how sorry, of 276, and for the grounded combo, that 225 divided into the, sorry, that 1057 divided into 3 because of the orange tree, so we're about 300. And yes, so at the end we're doing about, with one combo for Ariel, additional 276 damage with the blast procs, with the grounded combo about 202. So with the Ariel you do more than one blast proc with a combo, like you can see here, because the value is higher than the another one. And for the grounded combo you do about less than one blast proc. But if you play mixed playstyle, you do exactly about one blast proc per combo. And that is now the yes, the calculation into the DPS. For Ariel playstyle you got about 39.5 extra DPS, while on the grounded combo 45 extra DPS, and for mixed playstyle 42 extra DPS, which is higher than poison, because for poison it's about, depending on how you use status trigger, it's about 20 up to 30% extra DPS. Now I show you the skills. Build up boost 1 is used, and yes, the multiplier is 1.034 instead of 1.1, because you are using, we didn't use status trigger. Also we have coalescence is triggered. We gained 15 additional raw, which is very nice to have. Also burst level 2, critical boost level 1, weakness exploit level 3, attack boost level 4 with 5% more raw, 7 additional raw, and also the recovery from the frenzy virus, which gives us 20% additional raw. Sorry, crit. As for the augmentation, I've added 5 raw and that 2 levels of additional blast attack, which is shown here for the 10% more higher build up. And at the end we have, for mixed playstyle, 1905 damage. Okay, and if you compare the damage to another switch axis, you can see it's a lot higher. So I also mentioned in my spreadsheet for the blast build, it is about 6.4% stronger than the best KO build and 2.2% stronger than the Chemi Poison Power File build. It is only 7% weaker than an Elemental Files if the monster has a 2-star blast weakness. Okay, so this is extremely high damage output set if the monster has a 2-star blast weakness. And also if you're playing solo, you are easier to apply that status. Now we come to the next point. So I showed you the damage. Now another thing to the deco. The thing is, all that builds have skills around the blast damage. So we have a lot of blast decos on the weapon, a lot of blast decos. We have elemental fire, which increases our blast damage. So we have really a ton of blast related skills, and our procs are still 200. So the thing is, if we instead use of that Teostra Soul Jewel file switch boost, which you can also use, but I heard most users saying, yeah. Sorry, I was interrupted because someone came in my room, and I just want to say, yes, you can also use Switcher, but it doesn't give you additional damage or something. And I think if you use Switcher, the build is a kind of a little bit wasted, because all the blast decos and so are wasted. So if you use Switcher Tool, you also have to squeeze out your blast decos and instead use attack boost decos. So otherwise you lose a lot of damage. And yes, the reason is that Teostra's Soul decos increase your blast proc damage output from 200 to 240. So yes, that's a ton of damage. That is 20% more blast damage. So if you instead use a file switch boost, you lose about 20% of your blast damage, which is a lot. Okay, so yes, you have to keep in mind to say yourself to use maybe instead of the blast tools, attack tools, if you want to go for more attack and less blast procs. Okay. So now I show you the armor pods. For the armor pods, it's kind of versatility. You can also use Unmoyo chest, which I didn't use, but I highly recommend it if you want to use solo hunting, because I heard some people are saying to me, can you please make some builds that are also useful for multiplayer, so I'm not using Embolden in this time. For the head, absolute, this is the most important armor skill. Level 1 Bloodlust with level 2 Coalescence is Storage Helm, because we gain that additional 10% status build-up, which is absolutely necessary for this build. For the chest and the legs, we're using Flaming Espinas. Flaming Espinas gives us good spurts and attack boost, and the legs gives us burst, attack boost, and Interpreted Hurt. I sniped for Interpreted Hurt, so you can also use some other armor pods if you really want that. But yes, I'm really comfy with Interpreted Hurt, and yes, also burst is not bad. We really only need level 1, but level 2 is also okay. Yes, and for the gloves and for the belt, we are using Ryzen Chemi. For the gloves, we absolutely need that gloves because we have build-up boost and insane good amount of slots. And for the waist, we have kind of useless skills but very insane slots, and we also have to use those slots to squeeze in our power prolonger and all that other stuff. But you can instead also use, if you want, Golden Lune for status trigger and wait window. So feel free to use this armor pod, or you can also use the Anjanaf belt. With 2 levels of attack boost and very good slots. So this set is kind of versatile in that opinion. I already showed you all the skills we have. For the charm, I'm using a Rapid Move 1, Evade Extender 1 charm with 3 level 2 slots. I didn't know where I also showed you Defiance and that other stuff, but Defiance level 3 is, I think, absolutely must have for cross build. Okay, let's go. We're using a Teostra Soul Tool 2. On the Teostra's Hellebarde, Attack Tool 2. On the Storage Helm, Tenderizer Tool 2. On the Flaming Espinas, Chest, a Critical and a Shop Tool 2. On the Ryzen Chemi Gloves, a big ass Blast Tool with a General Blast Tool and a Cornerstone Tool. On the Ryzen Belt from Chemi, big ass quick switch and a big shop tool. So you can see that armor pod doesn't have useful skills on the base armor pod, but very useful slots, because you can squeeze in that big ass quick switch and a big ass shop tool. For the legs, Flaming Espinas for Interpreted Hurt, which also gives us Enhanced Tool, which we can squeeze in Enhanced Tool +4, and Cornerstone Tool 1. For the charm, 2 times Tenderizer Tool 2. Yes, so I didn't have to actually use that 100% the same build. You can use another chest piece if you want, and you can use another belt if you want. But that Storage Helm is absolutely must have. Yes, armor pod to make the set working. Okay, so thanks for checking out this video. This is the build. I also squeezed in that build here with the calculation stuff, and here's also the build. You can check it out in my spreadsheet, if you want and did watch the video. Yes, so feel free to swap out some skills. Maybe you can swap out some blast attack and insert some attack boosts, but I calculated it in this way that it scales with the damage. So if you use instead 3 levels of attack boost, you lose DPS, because most of the damage are relying on your blast damage, which you can see here. Here on this page. You can see here, for the aerial combo you do about 276 blast damage per ST, and for the grounded combo you do about 202 blast damage per rapid move loop combo. For the mixed playstyle about 239 per combo. That are the Fury augments. Here you can download the PDF version, and I also wrote here 33% trigger rate of build up boost 1. Yes, 2-star blast resistant monster with 2-star total blast damage. And this is the build up which I explained at the beginning of the video. So if you check out this build, make sure the highlighted essential skills are orange, which is blast attack, coalescence, absolutely must have skill. You can also use coalescence level 3 to squeeze out critical boost 1, and use coalescence level 3 to get even more blast procs, okay? Build up boost and bloodlust, absolutely necessary skills. So yes, I hope you have a little bit fun with this weapon. It also looks very good. It has natural purple sharpness, so absolutely insane. And yes, I hope you have some fun with this build. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time. Thanks for watching.